the better you understand that person who's on the other end of the phone, the more you know about that person on the other end of the phone or the other side of the desk, the more you will be able to figure out if you are actually the right solution for them. Because remember, this is not about getting people scheduled. This is about starting to build a relationship that will last throughout their entire life cycle. This is about being a problem solver, and it is about setting the provider up for success. And I love those. Those are the three objectives of the first phone call. Versus, I want you to get people scheduled. Just imagine the mindset shift of a potential new hire, not new hire, of a potential new hire who's reading a job posting for your office, and they see all the tasks that they see with every other front desk job in a healthcare office listing, and it also says get people scheduled. And then they get to your ad, and it actually stresses that we're looking for someone who will do those three things instead of we're looking for a front desk person to do all this stuff. Again, what's going to happen is you will screen out those people who don't want that job. And again, kudos to you for saving them their time, money, and energy without wasting time pursuing you, thinking you were something you weren't, right? And then the people who do respond to it are the people you're going to want to connect with, right? And move through a process and possibly, very much possibly so, find the right person to drop in the spot who will then manage the phone calls properly in the manner we want, building relationships, solving problems, and setting the providers up for success. The beauty of this is that when we say set the providers up for success, that means the patients will be successful, right? So it's not either or, it's an and thing. It's providers and patients. But I got tired of writing providers and patients up for success, so I just wrote providers. We have those three objectives of the first phone call. We told you how that gets the right person to apply and to fill that seat that you need them doing that task of helping you. You gotta love this, doing the task of helping you to grow your business, to set providers up for success. It's a huge task on a task list. So we want to find the right person so we can train them and set them and the business up for success, okay? So we then have this structure of the first phone call, again, which is about helping people. The structure of the first phone call, the ultimate goal of that structure is to help people understand, right? This is the definition of selling. To help people and to get them to understand how you and everything you have to offer can help them to reach the solution that they are looking for. Pretty straightforward when I say it like this, to help them reach the desired outcome they want for the issue they have, right? But I like solution to their problem because that's more global and takes it out of just this PT mindset. Because this is the same exact technique you teach to people selling anything. And that's the beauty of this, and why I've gone this selling route is there's just more literature, there's more research, there's more quality papers and writings out there based on selling education that do what? That do all these things we want to be doing in healthcare. Building an alliance, building trust, helping people reach a desired outcome. All that was in the business and selling literature far before it showed up in the healthcare literature regarding alliance. Managing and setting expectations, my Lord, that's been in selling literature forever. And thank God for Bishop Belosky and Clelander for bringing that all to physio side. But that stuff's been in the selling and business literature forever in books. I mean, all that stuff, it's been there. This is good stuff, man. And again, I think you all know it's and I'm going to say this, it's taken me 25 years in the profession and 20 years of having my own business to finally put all this stuff together and to own the fact that we've tried to teach this alliance stuff, right? And by the way, you know what's funny? We try to teach this alliance stuff to our providers, and because it's written as therapeutic alliance, we never applied it to the rest of our team. And where I started my journey, I pulled this this therapeutic alliance research out and said, this is crazy. In that, yes, we all must do it, but why the fuck is it only the providers? And why the fuck are we only training the providers to do it? for two reasons. A, the person who may be your patient deserves to be treated like that prior. It's so funny how we're so focused on them in the room. Oh, we build this therapeutic alliance, and then the front desk treats them poorly. And I say treats them poorly, that's a broad term. It's because that's what they were hired to do, and that's what they were trained to do. And the way they were trained and the way they were hired was not to take care of people, was to get people scheduled. And then God forbid you teach the billing and back office team about alliance and trust building. The whole team. It's a team win. It's a team win, right? People get better when the whole team is aligned. People have greater success when the whole team is aligned. The business does better when the whole team is aligned. And the business has greater success and greater growth when the whole team is aligned. Behind what? Patient success. Patient success flows to business success. Patient success means building an alliance, building trust far earlier in their journey. So the more trust I build before they arrive, the easier the job of the provider. Set the provider up for success. This is an upward curve the whole way. So we get them to the provider so the provider can continue. But we deliver them to the provider down here and go, okay, during your next hour, I need you to get them all the way up to here. And I say, why not just get them up to here? Say, okay, just take the next step. I think that's a really, really, really important concept here, is we're delivering these people at a zero baseline and telling the provider in 45 to 60 minutes, do all this work. Build the therapeutic alliance, manage and set expectations, decrease fear, doubt, and uncertainty. But if you did it from the first phone call, we got this upward trajectory. And it may not be here every time, but damn, it ain't gonna be here. Because people will understand they called the right place when they hang up. People will understand they were set up with the right person. By the way, I'm starting to give you the three things. I'll give them to you. People will all understand that before they arrive. I cannot emphasize this enough. This phase 2 of your patient life cycle, this moment of initial contact to arrival, it's actually till the provider greets them in the waiting room, is the gold, is the forgotten place, is the most undervalued, most misunderstood, most least leveraged phase of your patient's life cycle. We all think it's all with the provider. And so it's almost like this zero sum where we do nothing outside of the provider's office and we expect the provider to deliver way up to this level. I'm like, let's get that person ramped up and just maintain that level with the provider, with the billing team, with everybody. Okay? So here's the three things every phone call, and we'll expand on this. And the beauty is some of this is in JOSPT, in the physio research, and some of it is from other research, but this is research driven. This is not written up in a book back here. It's actually from the research. People want three things, ultimately. And what I did was I went through the research, pulled it all together, put it all down, and started looking through, okay, what does all this mean? And it really fell into three categories. And they say these things specifically, and I was looking for maybe outliers. And it really came down to three things. Because one of the things outside of this three that people want is, right, language they can understand. I was like, okay, yet if we couch that in these three, we can put these in these three. Because these are the three things that must be considered by your front desk person for them to be successful as the entry point to the business, who will help set the provider up for success and will help you grow your business. People want an expert, number one. This is someone calling and saying, I have low back pain, I want to get scheduled for physical therapy. What they're looking for is an expert who can tell them what's going on and give them a outline path map of their journey to reach their desired outcome. Those three things. And most people are going to say, hear this and go, yeah, I get it. That's what everybody's looking for. Yet, does your front desk understand this? Is the first phone call set up around building this trust and this understanding and managing and setting expectations around the fact that, yes, you have an expert, and I'm going to give you some examples. Yes, they will tell you what's going on, and yes, they can help you, right? And I'm not saying you promise things to people you can't help. That's the other part of this first phone call, right? You guys have heard me say this. Not everybody who calls your office should be scheduled. Not everybody who calls your office should be scheduled today. It's about finding the right fit. So, Like I said, most people watching this are going to say, I get it. I knew that. I do those secret callers. Of the last group of secret callers I did, it was a cluster of about 40 of them across about 25 states. Less than five told me the name of my provider out of 25. No, sorry, out of 40 phone calls. If you tell me that you acknowledge that everybody wants an expert and I'm scheduled with a physical therapist, then I would argue you don't fully comprehend what that means to the person on the other end of the phone. Well, they're going to have that expert when they arrive. That's the PT's job. I'm like, why will they arrive? We're back to that question. Remember when someone calls up? I love sitting next to the front desk people and only hearing their side of the conversation. It's a misnomer that you need to hear both sides every time, because it's great to do both. I love to sit next to a front desk person, takes a call, when they hang up, I say, okay, let's go through this. Why will they arrive, right? And if you can't tell me how you manage and set expectations and decrease fear, doubt, and uncertainty around those three things, then them arriving is a little bit of a coin flip, which is most severe practices out there. If they don't know they've been scheduled with the expert who can tell them what's going on and will get them to can help them get to their desired result, then why will they arrive? They're going to call around. They're going to look for someone who would. Now, people are not going to call you and say, do you guys have experts? Because there's an understanding. I'm calling a physical therapy office. It's just like calling a doctor's office. They're all experts. Yet, I'm going to argue this, they believe that when they call the massage therapist, the personal trainer, the chiro, the acupuncturist. So you must make sure people understand why and how you're the expert. And part of that is making sure that people understand who they're scheduled with and why they were scheduled with that person. So now we're getting a little deeper here. So when you say, oh, Jerry, this is great. I have just the person for you. Dr. John Doe is the perfect physical therapist for you. Let me tell you why. Now we're on to something here. Now they are the expert for me. By the way, when I do those secret callers and they say they'll get me scheduled for physical therapy and they go, I have a 10:30 opening on Thursday, I can get you scheduled. I know I'm not going to know anything of those three. And I'm going to tell you, out of the all the secret callers I've done who address those three things, 0 have addressed all three of those. 0. That is without a pause. I've got my documentation sheet. So I take my notes. I told you guys I hang up. And the first thing I do is I look at the call. Was it about you, the business, or was it about me, the potential patient? Right? Then I look at, do I know I got scheduled with an expert? Was I told they will tell me what's going on? And do I know they can help me on my journey? Now, let me take you through this real quick, because you're thinking, I don't want my front desk. This is going to take too long. And no, it's not. No, it's not. Your front desk is not expected to tell the person why, right, their physical therapist is the right PT for them for their low back pain. It's, by the way, that's social and individual proof. I have just the expert for you. They've helped a lot of patients who've hurt their back at CrossFit, social proof. And I know they can help you because they currently have people on their schedule they're doing that with. Boom, we're done. The thing about that journey, all you have to do, and this is what I love, and I used to do this without realizing this is why I was doing it. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time, and then I found the research. I'm not going to lie. This came later in my year, right, of answering phone calls. This took me months and months to figure out. Is that when I started to describe to people what would occur in the evaluation with their expert, people were more likely to arrive. What I found was what I described during what would happen in the evaluation was those three things. Your expert, Dr. John Doe, will do A, B, and C. And the C part was at the end of your evaluation, Dr. John Doe will sit down with you and go through what we call a plan of care, which revolves around what he found out is going wrong and will be your roadmap, time, how much time and how often it's going to take you and what you need to do to get back to CrossFit, because remember, they already shared their goals with me on the phone call, to get back to CrossFit and get rid of that morning pain. That's all the front desk had to do. Describe. This is the biggest takeaway. Do this today. It's 9:18 here in Philly. Get your front desk to get people to start. They overdo it too. It's this simple. Everybody, when I take them through this, they want to explain and use the verbiage. of the physios. When you arrive, Dr. John Doe will take you in the room, and let me tell you the 3 parts of what's going to happen during your evaluation with Dr. John Doe. He is going to take a deeper dive into your history and what's been going on with this low back pain. He'll take the information I collected today, managing and setting expectations, and he will build on it. He will then take you through a movement analysis and will get his hands on you to figure out what is going on with you, right? What's going on with that low back, what's causing that pain, you might even say. And then at the end of it all, you two will sit down, and I told you guys this discussion. That's it. Take this recording and get your front desk to do this today, and you will see more people arriving. And then you and I both know, you make sure your providers know what's being said on that first phone call, and then your provider takes them through that. Most of us would argue our providers already do that. And I'd go, yeah, and your people don't know that till they're in the room, and they don't know to expect that, and they don't know that's what an expert is supposed to do because you told them a week ago when they scheduled. This is it, man. This is it. This is it. This is it every time. This is my front desk success training program, right? All the work I do with people, all the role playing, all the listening to recordings, all the mindset work we go through, this is what it comes down to. Managing and setting expectations, building trust, making sure this person knows that this clinic is the right fit for them because we have the expert they need who will tell them what's going on and we'll give them a plan. Every PT gives every patient a plan of care. So why don't we tell people that's what we do? But no, we schedule people for physical therapy at 10:30 for low back pain on Thursday, and then we wonder why they don't arrive. And we wonder why they drop off. As God is my witness, people, if you start doing this today, your arrivals, your cancels will change. We put all that pressure on the provider, and people don't really know what to expect. Well, I'm not really sure, right? 99% of the success is me telling you when you arrive, this is what'll happen. And then you walk in the room and that's what happens. And you go, oh, just like you told me at the front desk, this is perfect. Whereas the person who arrives and this happens to, they're not going to know because the PT is not going to explain it like you did. PT is going to go up and into more detail and everything, but they're going to go, is this for me? Is this right? Well, yeah, it is because the front desk told them. Really, that's it. 21 minutes. I really want to make these 20 now. And there's a lot of info in there. Just go back and watch it. Have your front desk watch it. It's all in there. The way to be successful at this is now the repetition. Yeah, you just got to get the repetitions in. Because there's still ways to manage a call, right? The person who calls and says, do you take my insurance? The person who calls and says, are you in network? The person who calls and says, I have low back pain, I want to get scheduled for physical therapy. The person who calls and says, I want to get scheduled for low back pain, for physical therapy, and I'm wondering if you take my insurance. There's all how to manage that at the beginning to maintain control. A lot of the training is to maintain control of the conversation so that you can get to the parts you need. But if your team is going to freak out when someone asks, do you freak out because you put them in that mindset, by the way, 100%, you the owner, you the front desk manager, didn't train them properly or haven't shown them how to control the conversation, then they'll freak out and you'll lose the opportunity to get to this. So the front desk training is about not only that part, managing those 3 parts, but how do I maintain control of the conversation throughout, whether it's a 30-second conversation or 8-minute conversation. And I'm going to say this again for the umpteenth million time. These phone calls will not take longer. It's that plain and simple. I do secret callers that go 5-8 minutes long where at the end of it, I have absolutely zero reason to arrive. Scheduled for physical therapy at 10:30 on Thursday and maybe they got my insurance info or not. I have absolutely no reason not to call the next clinic because they didn't do those 3 things. They didn't maintain control of the conversation. They were checking boxes. It was about them and not about me.